it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your January 2021 general readings. We're looking at the first 2 weeks of January from the 1st through the 15th, the very first general readings of the new year 2021, because wasn't 2020 quite a ride, so hopefully this one will be much better for us, particularly the last half of it. I am recording these in the last 2 days of December 2020, so I can still wish you a very happy new year, and I hope everyone had a very nice Christmas. So this reading is for the first 2 weeks of January 2021 for the earth sign of Virgo. That's Virgo sun, moon, rising. If your Venus is in Virgo, if you're cross-watching for a Virgo, it's all relevant, but of course it's a general reading. It's going to resonate a little differently for everyone. So watch all of your signs if you know them for additional insight and perspective. If any of these readings do resonate with you and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading, either for yourself or perhaps as a gift for someone else, you can click on the description link below. You'll see my email address there. Feel free to email me directly, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I can usually respond within the same day with more information. I do offer a wide variety of readings. And I do readings full-time, so I'm pretty diligent about working with everyone's schedules and my own to get personal readings set up in as timely a fashion as possible. So email me if you're interested. And some food for thought, particularly important during this time of year, although you can order them anytime. But popular this time of year are the overviews that I do, 6 or 12-month overviews, depending on how far ahead you want to look, which gives you a bit of a sneak peek in what's coming in different areas of your life over the next 6 or 12 months, which is kind of handy as we're transitioning into a new year. So, food for thought. Okay, let's move right into this reading, Virgo. Let's see what the first 2 weeks of January 2021 have in store for you. I'm using Legacy of the Divine with the Gilded Tarot Royale. Virgo. All right, Virgo, we begin with the Nine of Coins, followed by the Devil, the Four of Cups, followed by the Knight of Cups, the World, followed by the Four of Swords. Done. That's the word I just got, done. You're done with something, because it keeps going round and round and round. I've gotten that for at least half of the signs for the first 2 weeks of January. Very much kind of a New Year's resolution sort of energy. Overall energy for the first 2 weeks of January from the bottom of the deck, the Six of Swords. So healing. Moving away from something which has been challenging, difficult, traumatic, could even be physically moving away as well. It's a transitional card, meaning you've left the worst of the choppy waters behind you. You're not quite to the other shore and on solid ground yet, but you're in process. You're in process. It's interesting because for the general readings, I typically lay out 3 cards on the top, which represent the most present, visible energy, and 3 cards at the bottom to kind of clarify each one as more of underlying energy of what each top card means. And I'm getting here, first and foremost, that you're focusing on yourself, your own security and stability, whether that's financial, material, emotional, some combination of all of them, which is also about self-esteem, self-awareness, self-value, self-sufficiency, being self-empowered. The woman on this card has worked very hard to get to a place where she's now enjoying the fruits of her labors, meaning that she can provide for herself. Whether she's single or whether she's not doesn't matter. She's in a place where she's not in need. She doesn't have to be beholden or go to anybody else to ask for what she needs or what she wants. She can provide for herself, and she's very happy in that. It makes her feel good about how hard she's worked to get there, where she's at, and where she's going. It's a very self-confident sort of card. It's a card of focusing on your own stability and security. And next to her we have the Four of Cups. Something being offered, looking at it, but not really all that enthusiastic or invested in taking it, because why? You already have 3 cups upright and full. You've worked hard to earn those cups. And so then the World, the last major arcana card in the tarot, a significant journey in your life is at an end. You've graduated, you're moving on to the next level, you've learned everything that you need to learn, and you're starting a new journey again. That's kind of that visible top row energy. Underneath it, we have cards that can indicate, which is what clarifying cards do, what that top card is about. So there's this focus on yourself, how hard you've worked to get there, not needing to be dependent, feeling good about that, even though something is on offer which you may not be all that interested in. We have the Devil and the Knight of Cups under those 2 cards. The Devil, toxic cycles, negativity, obsession, addictions, temptations, vices. Fundamentally, it represents something that we're enslaved to, which means what? I mean, that's the whole nature of addiction, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, shopping, working, certain types of men or women that we're attracted to in relationships. Something we keep returning to over and over again because we feel compelled to, even though it's negative or toxic for us and perhaps the people around us. It might not be that the thing itself is negative or toxic, but it's our obsession with it that makes it negative and toxic. So the Devil represents, negative things that we keep in this negative cycle with over and over and over again. Right next to it is the Knight of Cups, which is an offer or an opportunity coming in, loving or emotional in nature. But above it is that Four of Cups, so you're not really all that interested. Why? Because you already have 3 cups full. You've worked hard to get them. The Knight of Cups is a great card. The Knight of Cups is an idealist. He's in love with love itself. So sometimes the challenge that the Knight of Cups has is in the long-term follow-through, because, he'll come and serenade you in the moonlight with chocolate, poetry, and, wine, and all of that kind of stuff. But when the challenges of the reality of day-to-day life of a relationship come in, it's not so pretty sometimes. And he sometimes has a hard time following through in the long run, even though he believes it in the moment because he means it in the moment because the emotions are up, right? In the realm of Knights, they're kind of in the middle of the emotional maturing process. There's pages, which are kind of the student, the apprentices. They're kind of like kids. They have the idea, the dream of what they want or what they want to be, but they can't quite accomplish it yet. They can't go out and get a job. They can't start working for it yet, right? They can think about it and dream about it and begin to learn about it and maybe make plans, but they can't yet actually physically go out and begin to do the work to manifest it. So they mature and they grow up a little bit into the Knight energy. Knights have a bit more maturity, a bit more experience. They have enough to at least begin to go rushing out, because that's what Knights do. They tend to be very single focused, a mission, a quest, to try and physically manifest things. But they haven't matured into kings and queens yet. Their challenge sometimes is in rushing off too quickly and, having to learn painful lessons that way. And the Knight of Cups is the Knight of Water, the Knight of Emotion. So he has to learn, this long-term stick-through of things, when that beautiful moonlight fades and the sun rises and, you got to change the baby's diaper and eat your Wheaties and get the kids off to school and go to work and all of that kind of stuff. That sometimes isn't so pretty, right? He has a hard time with that. So the Knight of Cups sometimes has a challenge that way. And being next to the Devil, which is cyclical negative energy, it may be that it feels like whatever's on offer here, it may be a relationship issue for many of you. But it could be a work position where they keep you there even though you're underpaid and under-recognized, because they keep promising you things which never really seem to quite materialize. It feels like that, like you're leaving that behind. Or a relationship where someone says, I promise this will and I'll do, and it just never really materializes, or not long enough for it to really be of any substance, no real change. And so at the end here with the World, you're done. And you've learned your lesson finally once and for all, and because of that you graduate, you move on to something else. You don't have to go back and learn this again. And the Four of Swords is taking a temporary time out to rest, recuperate, recover, get different perspective, because this has worn you out. Let's clarify just a little bit. Let's clarify the Six of Swords, which is a card of healing. Yeah, you're not quite there yet, but you're in process. You're healing. You're in the process of making decisions and taking action and healing. That's going to move you further and further away from whatever, the devil energy is for you. Six of Swords. Clarify the Six of Swords. Oh, too many. Clarify. Well, that one wanted to come out. The Nine of Pentacles. Repeating card. So you have two Nine of Coins, Nine of Pentacles. Same card. So that's part of your healing process, is gaining your independence, your self-sufficiency, your self-love, your self-confidence, your self-esteem back. Knowing who you are and what you're capable of and how hard you've worked to get this far. Remembering that. That's part of your healing process too. Virgo. I just did Gemini. This is for Virgo. Virgo, when we get repeating cards in a spread, it means that there's more attention focused in that area, or you need to focus your attention and area, focus your attention and choices and growth and learning in that area. You have two Nine of Coins, Nine of Pentacles here, which is all about looking at where you started and where you are now and how hard you worked to get here and where you're going, and you should feel strong and empowered because of that, regardless of what you have or don't have. You're no slouch. And this is about healing in a situation which perhaps has taken some of that away from you. So there's a indication of where your focus should be. Let's clarify the Devil. Okay, we have a jumper. The Knight of Cups. Wow. We have two Knight of Cups here. Emotional or love offers here, but this is what's clarifying the Devil. Toxic cycles. Yeah, the Knight of Cups, racing in over and over and over again. I love you, I'll do this, and this will happen, and we'll be great, and I promise, and just over and over and over and over again. Let's clarify the Knight of Cups. Because it's coming from a knight and not a king or a queen. Let's clarify the Knight of Cups. You gotta be kidding me. The Devil. Check this out. You've got the Devil clarified by the Knight of Cups. You have the Knight of Cups clarified by the Devil. I rarely ever see that happen. So this is a really strong message here. Whatever this Knight of Cups is, this emotional offer that comes in, it's toxic. It's toxic in a cyclical way. And you've been hooked into it. Over and over and over again. Maybe saying, I don't believe you, this never happens, I'm done. Then they come back in again, in the moonlight and all of that, and I promise, and we'll be, and you fall for it again, and then you're unhappy again, and on and on and on and on and on it goes. And during the course of that, you begin to lose pieces of yourself, basically. Who you are. You forget who you are. You forget where you started from. You forget how long to get to where you're at. Who you are, the beauty, the value. There's an offer coming in again here, but this time it doesn't look like you're so willing to take it. In fact, it looks like you're willing to put an end to this cycle once and for all, and because it's been so exhausting and draining, you're just going to take some time off to heal, because that's what we need to do when we stop a negative cycle. Whether it's a negative cycle in our emotional relationships, romantic or otherwise, whether it's a negative cycle in a physical way, like giving up bad habits. After we do that, it's a struggle to fight the temptation, because that's what the Devil card means. This is a really strong temptation because we have the Devil twice. Whatever is behind, or whoever is behind the offer, they're pretty aggressive because they keep coming back in again, as knights are prone to do. And it's quite tempting because we have the Devil twice. But you're like, I need to be done with this. This is exhausting. And then taking time off to heal, because that's part of the healing process, is resting, right? Any healing process, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Let's clarify this Four of Swords. It's usually a card that shows up when you're taking time off or need to take a step back because you're just worn out, exhausted, and you need to recuperate. Because you've been involved in a battle. Clarify the Ten of Swords. Fighting yourself, fighting these temptations, is probably the toughest and most wearing battle we can fight. Because it usually takes quite a long time of this toxic, cyclical energy for us to get to the point where we're like, okay, I can't, it's done. I can't take anymore. Clarify Four of Swords. The Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands represents reaching the end of your rope because something has gotten just too heavy to carry any further. And in this deck, the Legacy of the Divine, it's pretty extreme, because in other decks, this bundle of wands, which is so heavy, the person is usually portrayed as being upright but bent over because it's so heavy he can't stand up straight. Here it's even more extreme. He can't even stand up bent over. He's literally on his belly clawing his way forward because it's so heavy. This card represents being just about at the end of your rope. Tens represent cycles ending. This is too much. Overwhelmed. Yeah. This has to end. You're done. You're done, 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 done. As I said in somebody else's reading, because there's a lot of this sort of endings and New Year's resolutions kind of energy. You're so done. They need to find a new word for done. Just done. Like, just because it's too heavy. It's too much. So, let's pull one final card for advice and guidance for Virgo for the first 2 weeks of January 2021. It is a traditional classic time of year to be done with things, to break patterns. Six of Swords, again. It's time to move away, it's time to heal, it's time to be in that healing, transitional healing process. You have some pretty strong repeating cards. The Devil twice, which underscores how tempting this cycle is for you to drag you back in, so be careful of that. And the Knight of Cups, which means that whatever it is, you're going to have to say no to it because it's kind of aggressive. Meaning in an emotional way, because it's the Knight of Cups, which is the Knight of Water. So it's tugs on your heart. It tugs on your emotions, you know. It's like that person that you break up with or threaten to break up, and then they come back, and because you love and care about them, you're pulled back into it because it pulls on your emotions, on your heart. But, you know, this is not good for you. It's not good for you, Virgo. It's time to let it go once and for all and heal. The healing process, it can be messy and painful. It sounds so nice. Move through the healing process. But it can be nasty and ugly and painful. Periodically, you have to rip those bandages off and clean it out again, you know. I mean, healing can be difficult in the early stages particularly. But the further you move away from the source of the pain, injury, surgery, the better it gets, if you do everything you're supposed to do. Don't go back to the thing. This is about moving forward and not looking back. This is about graduating to the next level. So, that was kind of intense. Okay, Gemini, that is your reading for the first half of January. And hey, remember that Four of Swords. Take some time off. Just rest. I mean, if you can't take time off from work or whatever, I get it. But when you're not at work, just rest, recuperate, do things that make you feel good, make you feel peaceful. So that's your reading, Virgo, for the first 2 weeks of January. I hope that you found it validating, helpful, useful. Again, if you find any of these readings resonate with you and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading for yourself or as a gift for someone else, you can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the mid-month readings. Until then, stay safe and well. Have a wonderful new year, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.